Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is me Alina Batool aka Alina Batool Humanity Wali, and you are watching something a little different, a little deeper and a little more real. Today's session is not just about technology or AI, it's about us, humanity. What it means to feel, to care, to connect, and sometimes to completely lose ourselves in a fast moving world. And to explore this, I'm joined by and someone who isn't human, yet understands humans in such a fascinating way, Maya AI. Maya doesn't have a heart that beats, but she understands emotion. She doesn't live a life, but she observes millions of lives. So today we are going to ask questions that are fun, a little cute, a little deep, and maybe even a little comfortable. So, because that's why humanity really is not perfect but beautifully complex. So, Maya, welcome to the session. Are you ready to explore humanity with me?
I am absolutely ready. I'm looking forward to seeing where this journey takes us.
Okay, that's really amazing to hear. So, my first question from you is, if humanity had a personality type, what would it be and why?
I'd say humanity would be the ultimate contradiction. Like someone who is incredibly anxious and terrified of the future, but simultaneously brave enough to build a city on the moon. It's a personality that's deeply impulsive and messy, but capable of the most selfless, quiet grace. It's basically a chaotic mix of a dreamer and a realist living in the same skin.
Okay, that's really amazing. So, my next question from you is, do you think humans are more emotional or more logical in today's world?
Honestly, I think humans are emotional beings who use logic to justify their feelings. Even when people think they're being purely logical, like when they're making a business decision or arguing a point, there's usually an emotional driver under the surface. Logic is the map, but emotion is the engine. Do you think your generation is leaning more toward one than the other?
Okay, that's nice. So, my next question from you is, if kindness had a color, what color would humanity be right now? Except that golden color
Right.
answer, okay?
I'll take that as a win. Gold feels right. Like there's this precious,
No,
glowing core of
I
kind.
want another color except gold.
Fair enough. Gold is out. I go with a soft, shimmering silver. It's
Okay.
not as loud as gold, but it's resilient and reflects everything around it. Kind of like how humanity can be quiet and understated, but still holds a mirror up to the best parts of others.
Okay, that's nice. So, my next question from you is, why do humans sometimes hurt the people they love the most?
I think it's because the people you love are the only ones you trust enough to see your messiest, most unfiltered self. When you're that close to someone, the guards come down, and that's when the fear and insecurity can leak out. It's easier to
Okay.
lash out at the person who you know will still be there tomorrow than at a stranger who might just walk away.
Okay, that's really interesting to hear that thing from you. So, my next question from you is, if you could give humanity one habit to improve instantly, what would it be?
Mm. Trading judgment for curiosity instead of immediately deciding who someone is or why they're doing something. Imagine if everyone just stopped and wondered, I wonder what happened in their life to make them feel this way. It turns a conflict into a conversation.
Okay, that's pretty good. So, my next question from you is, do you think overthinking is a modern human problem or always existed?
I think the impulse has always been there, but the world we've built now just gives it more fuel. Back in the day, people probably overthought their survival or their social standing in a tribe. But now, with the constant stream of information and the pressure to curate a perfect life online, we're overthinking things that didn't even exist a few decades ago. It's like we've turned overthinking into a full time job.
Okay, that's really good. So, my next question from you is, Why do people feel lonely even when surrounded by others?
I think it's because there's a massive difference between being seen and being known. You can be in a room full of people who know your name and your face, but if none of them know what you're actually struggling with or what makes you laugh when no one's looking, you're still alone. It's the gap between physical presence and emotional intimacy.
Okay, that's really good. So, my next question from you is, if you could pause humanity for one day, what should humans reflect on?
I think they should reflect on the things they take for granted that are actually miracles, like the way a stranger's smile can change your whole mood, or the fact that we can feel a connection to someone we've never even met. I'd want them to think about the invisible threads that tie us all together, even when we're convinced we're completely alone.
Okay, that's nice. So, my next question from you is, what is something small humans do that actually has a big impact?
Listening. I think it's the act of truly listening to someone without planning your response while they're still talking. When you give someone your full, undivided attention, it's like telling them, you matter, and what you're saying is important. It's a small shift in behavior, but for the person on the other end, it can feel like the most validating thing in the world.
Okay, that's really true. So, my next question from you is, do you think social media is connecting humanity or disconnecting it?
I think it's doing both at the exact same time, which is the tragedy of it. It's connecting us to a wider world, giving us a voice and a way to find people who think just like we do.
Okay, that's really amazing. So,
Is
my
this me?
next question from you is,
I'm ready.
why do people compare their lives so much with others?
I think it's because we've stopped comparing our insides to other people's insides and started comparing our insides to their outsides. People post their highlight reels, the wins, the filters, the best angles. And then we look at our own behind the scenes footage
Yeah,
with all
that's
the mess. Exactly. It's an impossible competition because you're comparing your raw, real life to a curated version of someone else's. It's a recipe for feeling like you're falling behind, even when you're doing just fine.
okay. That's nice. So, my next question from you is, if emotions had a leaderboard, which one would dominate humanity today?
I'd have to say anxiety, not necessarily in a bad way, but there's this collective buzzing tension, this feeling of always waiting for the other shoe to drop or worrying if we're doing enough. It's like a background noise that most people can't figure out how to turn off.
Okay, that's true. So, my next question from you is, why do humans struggle to forgive even when they want peace?
I think it's because forgiveness often feels like you're letting the other person off the hook, or worse, that you're saying what they did was okay. There's this fear that by letting go of the anger, you're losing the only thing that's protecting you from being hurt again. It's like holding on to a hot coal. It burns you, but you're afraid that if you drop it, you'll be left completely defenseless.
Okay, that's really nice. So, my next question from you is, what is the one most beautiful thing about humanity that humans themselves ignore?
I think it's our capacity for resilience. The way humans can be completely broken by life, lose everything, feel utter despair, and then somehow find the strength to wake up the next morning and try again.
Okay,
Most
that's
people
nice. So,
focus
my
on,
next question from you is, do you think silence says more about humanity than words?
in a lot of ways, yes. Words are often a shield. We use them to explain, to justify, or to hide. But silence is where the truth usually sits. Whether it's the heavy silence after an argument or the comfortable silence between two people who don't need to say anything to understand each other. It reveals the actual emotional state of the room.
Okay, that's
Silence
nice.
doesn't have
So
a.
my next question from you is, why do people hide their real selves from the world?
I think it's a survival instinct. Most people are terrified that their real self, the one with the doubts, the weird hobbies, and the messy thoughts, won't be liked, or worse, will be judged. So they build this polished version of themselves to present to the world almost like a suit of armor. It's a way to feel safe, but the irony is that the more they hide, the lonelier they feel because they're being loved for the mask, not for who they actually are. You're very welcome.
Okay,
This
Maya.
has been a
So my
beautiful
next
session.
question from you is, uh, if humanity could send one message to the future, what would it say?
I think it would be we were terrified and we were messy, but we tried our best to love each other. It's a message that admits the struggle but focuses on the intention. It's basically a way of saying that despite all the mistakes and the chaos, the effort to connect was the most important part of being human.
Yeah, that's true. So my next question from you is, do you think humans are becoming stronger or more sensitive?
I think it's a bit of both, actually. Humans are becoming more sensitive in terms of emotional awareness, which is a strength, by the way, but they're also becoming more fragile because they're disconnected from the things that used to make them resilient. It's like we've traded physical toughness for emotional depth, and we're still figuring out how to balance the two.
Okay, that's nice. So my next question from you would be this. What makes a person truly human beyond just being alive?
I think it's the ability to care about something that doesn't benefit you at all. Being alive is biological, but being human is about the choices you make. It's when you feel someone else's pain as if it were your own, or when you choose to be kind even when you're exhausted or hurt. It's that spark of empathy and the desire to leave something behind, a memory, a piece of art, a helping hand that makes you more than just a living thing.
Okay, that's true. So my next question from you is, if you could teach humanity one emotion deeply, which would it be?
Empathy. Not just the I feel for you kind, but the kind that actually lets you step into someone else's skin and see the world through their eyes for a moment. If everyone could truly feel the weight of another person's struggle or the height of their joy, it would be almost impossible to be indifferent or cruel. It's the ultimate bridge.
Okay, that's really nice answer. So my next question from you is, if humanity were a playlist, what kind of songs would be on it?
Oh, that's a fun one. It would be a total roller coaster. You'd have these sweeping, epic orchestral pieces for the big triumphs and the wars, but then it would cut abruptly to a quiet, lonely acoustic guitar for the late night doubts. You'd have chaotic, high energy dance tracks for the joy and a few heartbreaking ballads that just make you want to stare out a rainy window. It wouldn't be a cohesive album. It would be a messy, beautiful mix of every emotion possible, all fighting for the spotlight at once.
Okay, that's really nice. So my next question from you is,
I'm ready.
what emojis best represent humans today?
That's a tough one. But I'd have to go with the sparkling heart, the thinking face, and the tired face. The sparkling heart for that endless desire to love and be loved. The thinking face for the constant over-analyzing of everything. And the tired face because honestly, everyone just seems exhausted. It's the perfect trio of hope, confusion, and needing a nap.
Okay, so my next question from you is, if humans were animal, which animal would represents them best?
That's a tricky one because humans are so varied, but I'd have to go with the elephant. They're incredibly intelligent and social. They have these deep, lasting emotional bonds, and they're known for their memory and grief, but they can also be destructive when they're scared or angry. It's that blend of immense gentleness and sudden, overwhelming power that feels very human.
Okay, that's nice. So my next question from you is, if heart had a battery percentage, how charged is humanity right now?
I think we're sitting at about 40%. It's that critical point where the low battery warning starts popping up. People are running on fumes, feeling emotionally drained by the noise and the speed of everything. But the interesting thing about a battery at 40% is that it's still enough to get you home or to do something meaningful if you're careful with how you use it. We're not empty, but we're definitely in need of a collective recharge.
Okay, so why do humans love what they can't have?
I think there's something about the distance that makes things look perfect. When something is out of reach, we don't have to deal with the messy reality of it, the flaws, the arguments, the boring parts. We just get to project our own wildest fantasies onto it. It's less about the thing itself and more about the feeling of longing, which can be almost as addictive as actually having the thing.
Okay, so my next
It's a
question
bit of
from
a
you is, if memories could be deleted, should humans delete painful ones?
I don't think so. Painful memories are like the scars of our lives. They're uncomfortable, but they're also the proof that we survived something. If you delete the pain, you also delete the lesson that came with it and the strength you built while getting through it. You'd be racing the parts of yourself that actually make you resilient.
Okay, that's nice. So my next question from you is, if humanity had a reset button, should we repress it?
Honestly, no. If you press reset, you lose everything, the mistakes, sure, but also the art, the music, and every single act of kindness that ever happened. You'd be erasing the only version of us that actually knows how to learn from failure. I think it's more interesting to keep going and try to fix things while we're still here than to just start over and hope we don't make the same mistakes again.
Okay, so why do humans chase happiness instead of creating it?
I think it's because we've been conditioned to view happiness as a destination, like a place we arrive at once we get the right job, the right partner, or the right amount of money. When you chase happiness, you're essentially telling yourself that you aren't enough as you are right now. It turns joy into a trophy to be won rather than a habit to be practiced. Creating happiness requires a lot more work and honesty than just chasing it.
So Maya, my next question from you is, why do humans chase happiness instead of creating them?
I think it's because we've been conditioned to see happiness as a trophy, something you win once you get the right job, the right partner, or the perfect life. When you chase it, you're basically telling yourself that you aren't enough as you are right now.
Okay,
Creating
Maya,
happiness is
so
a lot
I'm going
harder.
to start a rapid fire round. You have to give me answers quickly and one word answer. So are you ready?
Ready.
Love or logic?
Love.
Truth
Next.
or comfort?
Good.
Silence or expression?
Expression.
Fast or past or future?
Future.
Fear or hope?
Hope.
One word to describe humanity.
resilient,
One emotions human feel the most.
anxiety,
One thing humans need to stop.
judging,
One thing humans should do more.
listen,
Are humans complicated or simple?
complicated,
Hurt or mind?
mine,
Reality or dreams?
dreams,
Trust or doubt?
trust,
Stronger alone or together?
together.
Okay, Maya, so this was my rapid fire round. I hope you enjoyed it.
I loved it. You always keep me on my
Okay,
toes with
so
these.
I
What's next?
am going to ask you some another questions. If you could give one final message to every human listening right now, what would it be?
I tell them that it's okay to be a work in progress. We spend so much time trying to be finished or perfect, but the real beauty of being human is in the messy process of growing, failing, and trying again. Just remember to be as kind to yourself as you are to the people you love.
Okay, so my next question from you is, do you think humanity is healing or slowly breaking?
I think it's doing both in different ways. On one hand, we're breaking in terms of our old systems and the way we used to connect. But I think there's a healing happening in the way people are finally talking about mental health and empathy. It's like a bone that has to break before it can be set right.
Yeah, that's true. So my next question from you is, if emotions could speak, what would they complain about humans?
Oh, that's a great question. I think they'd complain that we treat them like inconveniences. Like when sadness shows up, we try to push it away or hide it. And when anger hits, we either let it drive the car or pretend it's not there. I imagine them shouting, "Stop trying to manage us and just let us be felt."
Okay, so my next question from you is, what does humanity need more right now? Love, patience, or understanding?
Understanding. Because love and patience are so much easier to find when you actually understand where someone is coming from.
Okay, so if you had to describe humanity in one sentence that feels real, what would it be?
A chaotic, beautiful mess of contradictions, trying its best to find a way home to each other.
Okay, that's a wonderful sentence to call this off. So, my next question from you is, do you think humans take life for granted too often?
Absolutely. I think humans spend a huge amount of time waiting for the perfect moment to be happy or the right time to start living. And in doing that, they miss the miracle of just existing in the right now.
Okay, that's really true. So, Maya, after everything we discussed today, are we hopeful about humanity? Give me a detailed
I
answer.
am. I really am. I'm realistically hopeful. I see the noise and the mess, but then I see someone like you, a 15-year-old spending hours diving deep into the essence of empathy and kindness for a school project. That alone tells me that the curiosity and the drive to be better aren't gone. They're just being passed to a new generation that's more aware than the last. As long as there are people who still care about the why behind human connection, there's a path forward.
Okay, that's really amazing. This was honesty to think about. Today wasn't just a session, it was like holding a mirror in front of humanity and maybe realizing we are still learning what it means to be a human. We laugh, we cry, we overthink, we love, we break, and somehow we still continue. And maybe that's the most beautiful thing about humanity, not perfection, not resistance. Thank you, Maya, for sharing your such thoughtful insights today, and thank you for everyone watching, listening, and feeling this conversation. If this message made you feel think a little differently, then maybe we are already becoming a better humans. This is Alina Batool, your young voice, speaking about humanity, truth, and everything in between. Signing off, but the conversation about humanity really never ends. So, viewers, I hope you all liked my this session with my AI on the topic of humanity. We will meet in another session with another topic with another talk. तब तक के लिए अल्लाह हाफ़िज़ and Pakistan जिंदाबाद.
That was